Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Christensen, this is Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome back to Day 5 of Scare-A-Thon 2024, benefiting the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. We are working our way through this stack of movies, and today we're going to be talking about a slasher classic, shall we say, from the salad days of the early 80s, Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Check out this poster. Wow. So Mountaintop Motel Massacre, in addition to having a lot of M's in its title, was coming out in 1983, and there had already been a lot of slashers that had come out in the wake of the success of Halloween and Friday the 13th, etc. Like 81 and 82, we had so many slashers. In 83, things were going full steam. They were almost starting to peter out at that point. And so Texas filmmaker Jim McCullough decided he wanted to take a stab, if you'll pardon the expression, at making a slasher for himself. Now, what makes this one different is that we don't have a lot of young kids running around. There's a nice mixture of older and younger characters that are mixed throughout the show. The basic premise is that Evelyn has been released recently from a mental institution, and she is now running a motel called the Mountaintop Motel. And everything seems to be going well until her daughter's rabbit gets loose in the garden, and, well, Evelyn gets her sickle, and she takes it to the little beast. Well, I guess it's a guinea pig that's in the garden, and she also has a rabbit that she has in her room. But Evelyn takes her sickle to the little guinea pig and then goes in and starts ranting and raving when she sees that her daughter's trying to invoke her father's spirit. And in her flailing about, she slashes her daughter with her sickle and then has to cover up the crime. And somehow life goes on for Evelyn. Anyway, it's a dark and stormy night, and people are starting to take refuge at the Mountaintop Motel. We have quite the assortment of characters. We have a guy who claims to be an executive with Columbia Records. We have two country music singing cousins. We have a newlywed couple. We have an old preacher, and we have a carpenter. And all of them are lodging at the Mountaintop Motel. And what we learn is that Evelyn has burrowed out the bottom of the floorboards and has built little hinges in all the floors so she can come up into everybody's room. And at first things start off, it's a very kind of weird little slasher in that she doesn't just kill people. She slips a rattlesnake into one person's room, and she slips some rats into another room, and then she slips some cockroaches into the room. So she's kind of like toying with them at first. But when one of the guests gets bit by the rattlesnake, people start kind of like getting nervous, and they're going back and forth between rooms. And that's when Evelyn grabs her handy sickle and she starts going to town. The special effects were done by the person who also did our production design, which is Drew Hunter. And while we don't get a ton of gore, there are some pretty impressive set pieces. That sickle gets put to good use. Now, I had seen this film a long time ago. I was going through like all of the slashers, pulling reference books and trying to go through all of them. And I feel like this one just kind of got lost in the shuffle in terms of my brain hanging on to it, because I didn't remember it being anything special. But coming back around to it, and this is why I highly recommend people revisit these movies. Even if you've seen it, go back and see it again. Because I'm really glad that I checked this one out again, thanks to Vinegar Syndrome for putting it out on Blu-ray recently, because it gave me the opportunity to really appreciate the atmosphere that's being created on a budget. And the fact that it's a dark and stormy night, so they must have gotten rain machines, because it is raining throughout the back half of the movie. Also, we have most of these actors only did one or two films, oftentimes with McCullough. Our old guy who plays the carpenter, Crenshaw, Major Brock, this is the only movie that he ever did. And I think it's fantastic that he was a carpenter, because he's the one who has the idea of taking a hammer and nailing the little trapdoors shut so Evelyn can't get into your room. Smart guy. Now, as I said, a lot of these actors didn't do much, the exception being Bill Thurman, who was kind of a Texas staple. He showed up in a lot of Larry Buchanan's films like Attack of the Eye Creatures and Zontar, the Thing from Venus, and Curse of the Swamp Creature. But he also did some bigger films with Hollywood, like Where the Red Fern Grows, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Places in the Heart, and also Silverado. So he's immediately recognized he's really big and got a big face and great voice. And then the other actor is James Bradford, who also did a lot of TV and things like that, but he also appeared in some films like 300 and Martin Scorsese's The Aviator. Vinegar Syndrome has done a fantastic job of bringing this film to physical media, and it's got some great interviews with Drew Hunter, our production designer and makeup effects guy, and David Aiken, who is also on the camera department. And if you're a regional horror fan, you think you might know the name Jim McCullough, that's because he did The Creature from Black Lake, which starred Jack Elam in 1976, which was also scripted by his son, Jim McCullough Jr., as is this film. So that is Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Fantastic little underrated regional slasher worth picking up. Love to hear your thoughts on this film, so drop those in the comments below. And again, please remember this is Scare-A-Thon 2024. We are benefiting the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. If you'd like more information about the fundraiser, you can find this video right here. There'll also be a link to that video at the end of this one. And if you'd like to contribute right now, you can go to the link in the description of this video, and that'll take you right to the platform. You can make a donation. We are 5 days in. Things are looking really great. If you can make a contribution now, if everybody just donated $5, $10, $15, $20, we would get to our goal of $10,000 in no time at all and move the needle just a little bit toward where things ought to be. Thanks, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.